morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Loyalty Counter's Loresday. We're back.
Oh yeah, we are back. It was just a little while. I'm Roman,
And my name's Akeem, and we're back. And in our absence, there has been a full release of Aether Revolt stories.
Yeah,
I know, man, it's crazy.
yeah.
So we got a lot to talk about.
I mean, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. All right.
We will indeed.
So today, what we're gonna do is we're actually by the grace of some magic gods that are not the Theros gods, we're gonna play 9 planeswalkers at once.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Super Friends.
you all did. So, here we go. First story we missed. In the Dead of Night.
Ooh.
At Tezzeret's command, the consulate has cracked down on Girapur by installing a curfew, limiting access to Aether and confiscating inventions. All citizens are feeling the stifling effects, but perhaps none more than the Aether-born Yahenni, whose life is about to end.
And this was written by Alison Loris, who, if you recall, actually wrote the last story featuring Yahenni. And it's quite quaint. You can tell in the writing style right away that this is Yahenni's story. And I have to say, it felt real good to see him unleash the beast.
Well, it felt real good to see them unleash the beast. Non-gendered are these Aether-borns.
This is true. I keep forgetting.
It's hard to get a... Yeah. But yeah, no, so it was basically started, it was supposed to be their penultimate party.
Yes.
Got canceled kind of because of the curfew. Yahenni didn't want to die alone. Went out looking for anyone. Came across one of his friends, whose name I cannot remember. But
he was his caterer.
Oh, that's right. It was Yahenni's caterer. And they got kind of like attacked-ish by some guards. He was the caterer were starting to die and stuff, and Yahenni used that power that he never... Yahenni used
distraction.
Yahenni used that power that they never wanted to use.
Yes.
Essence extraction stole the life force of a guard, and that is where we find out the crux of the ability, I guess. Although Yahenni is able to prolong their life by it, they also feel the death of the person or thing that they are sucking the life force from. And at that moment, it's Yahenni decides that this is something that they know they cannot do.
Right. Because he's already very empathic as it is. He feels things. So he's feeling it double because it's like he feels pain. So when he feels them dying, he feels as though he's dying.
Yep. Even though in reality, Yahenni is living longer now.
Yep.
But because we have so much to get through, honestly, I couldn't find anything bad with this.
Yeah, no.
It was just really, really good. Really made me connect more with Yahenni and feel more for Yahenni.
I will say that I was thrown. I didn't know Gonti was going to be like that. I thought Gonti was going to be more of a bad guy. It's more like, oh no, we need to spur them on.
Yeah.
Like all right.
Yeah, that was interesting. I'm not confused, I guess. Like the Aetherborn heart, why that and spoilers, I guess, even though we're going to be covering everything this episode, why that wasn't pursued more.
Right.
I guess. Like, I don't know. I just thought that maybe should have been pursued more, like, because of Yahenni's situation and all that. But at the time of reading it, I thought. I was like, well, the Aetherborn heart, though, it's like something that's able to sustain an Aetherborn, so
Yeah.
that should be all good. But either way, that story was very good.
Indeed.
And then we come to
Quiet moments. While Tezzeret commands the Consulate with an iron fist, the planeswalkers of the Gatewatch struggle to discover their true purpose behind the Artificer's presence on Kaladesh, and to determine their own role in the tumultuous political conflict of Girapur.
and this was written by Michael Yichow.
This is a new guy. I haven't seen anything written by him, I don't believe.
No, but he did a good job.
Yeah.
So take us through a little bit of the story, just a bit of what happened.
I'm trying to remember. This is them pretty much trying to rally the rest of the people. In continuation of the last...
They were in the statue, right?
Yeah, no, this is after that. This is pretty much
after it.
because that Yahenni jumping from the tower and everything. That was toward the end of the Dead of Night.
Right.
Because in the Dead of Night, he actually went over to Ganti's hideout, found the Gatewatch, informed him like, "Hey, look, you're not safe." And that's when the whole thing with the car happened, and you saw Yahenni's art where he slammed on the car and drained the essence out of the driver. So
see, that's how you can tell that this was all good writing, because even though I read them at separate points as they came out, at this point, it all just melds into one story.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, wait, when did this happen?
it didn't feel like it was that separate of an author. It felt like a very cohesive story made by one person, so that's really good. But yeah, this is all about getting the people to want to rise up. That was kind of Ganti's main goal. He needed to light a fire under their butts, so to speak. And Pia and Chandra were just the people to do that.
Right, at the bar,
Yep,
right?
yep. So Chandra did her little speech, and they caught the attention of Ganti. And yeah, she's like, "Look, I got things. You need things? I got things." And showed him his hidden stockpile.
Right, of all the little toys.
Yep. Yeah. That was a good story too. Like, I didn't have any complaints really. Like, I will say this will be a recurring thing for the rest of the episode, but Chandra by far has improved vastly in these series of stories. And I think by the end of this we'll probably just go through each walker, because at this point we're whipping through these things super quick.
Yeah,
So,
and honestly, yes, there are going to be very few, if any, complaints on any of these stories. Though, now that after these stories have come out, I do have to say that my previous thoughts on some of the stories in Kaladesh, particularly complaints about Chandra, have changed a bit. I'm able to understand more now why they were kind of writing her more two-dimensional, and it was because there wasn't really an opportunity yet for there to be growth on her part. Whereas in the Aether Revolt storyline, plenty of growth, and they showed it all. And so with that, basically, I am going to take back my complaints of Chandra's no growth. I will say, though, that it does seem like, as a whole, the authors for these stories were more on the same level, or the same page than they were for the Kaladesh stories. So that still complaint stands.
But with that being the case, after quiet moments, there was
breakthrough. Rashmi's matter transporter won the Inventor's Fair, and she accepted a patronage under head judge Tezzeret. Her dream of sharing her invention with the world seems within reach, but she's about to learn that Tezzeret has other plans.
Yeah, and this one was written by Kimberly J. Cranes. I believe she also wrote a story in Kaladesh, but I have very limited interactions with Tezzeret. I read the story of Jace dealing with the Infinite Consortium
Mm-hmm.
back in Ravnica days when he was working underneath Tezzeret, and that's when I know him from. It is very interesting to see the type of person that Tezzeret is. He views everything and everything as that's smaller than him, insignificant, and like he just throw them away. It doesn't matter. It's like he rules with fear. So this is a really good bad guy to have because I don't think we've had disagreements like Nahiri and stuff like that. We have Eldrazi monstrosities, but I don't think we've had since the whole change in Origins a true face of a villain. It's like, okay, this is a recurring villain, and he really sucks. Like we knew he sucked as Tezzeret, but it was good to see how he's interacting with people that weren't on his level, so to speak.
I will say that although it's not super present, you can really kind of tell, and again, spoilers, we're going to get to it anyway later on. You can really tell that something in him has changed.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly I believe it comes from Nicol Bolas basically being able to reshape him however he wanted, because as we'll find out mentioned in a later story, Jace destroyed his mind, like absolutely obliterated it, and they left him for dead. So with a broken mind, and being that Bolas is more powerful than Jace in terms of telepathy, Nicol Bolas was probably able to reshape him how he wanted. So while there was a point where Tezzeret was free from Nicol Bolas, at this point I don't think that Tezzeret will ever be able to be free from Bolas, especially since he seems to accept it. But more of that later on. In this story specifically, we do see his ruthlessness rather. Ruthfulness?
Ruthlessness. We see both.
Yeah, I just ruthlessness. Yeah. I don't know why, but when I said that word, I was like, wait, that's a lack of no. Ruthlessness. In his just, oh, you're no use to me, get out of here. You're no use to me, get out of here, but still keeping the inventions. I will say that I liked Rashmi a lot more at the end of this story.
Yeah.
When she came to realize what exactly her matter transporter actually was.
Yeah.
Not so much just here is that basket you wanted, I'll just teleport it over to you. More so of a, holy crap, there are an uncountable number of other planes of existence out there. And this is a lot of power that someone like Tezzeret does not need.
Exactly. And if he mentions it, believe here, that he's trying to get the Gear Hulks through those things.
He does. He does specifically say that he wants it built large enough for a Gear Hulk.
So he was trying to send Gear Hulks to other planes, armies potentially, of these things wiping people out. And we don't know. He could probably make his own now after seeing him. He's an artificer, so.
Well, I mean, his own. You mean his own Gear Hulks? Yeah, probably. But I will say, called it.
Yeah.
I clearly meant for sending an army somewhere, or somewheres, multiple places.
Yeah.
Because who wouldn't want to be able to just roll across the plains, conquering each and every world with your giant robot army?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, instead of Rashmi creating a matter transporter, she created a planar bridge.
Yep, which is the exact card that it was on. So good on you, Hakeem.
Yeah.
Again, not really any complaints on this one.
It was really good. I liked everything about it.
I do believe that, it's time for the next one.
It's time for a revolution to begin. A fire has been lit in the hearts of the people. They're rising from all corners of Girapur, no longer willing to stand for the council's oppression. It is time to take back their city. It's time to reclaim their freedom. It's time for revolution.
Really quickly before I get to the authors, I'm a tad disappointed that you didn't say it's time for revolution.
I can't roll my R's that well.
Such a shame.
Oh no.
The authors of this, were Nick Davidson, Kelly Diggs, and Kimberly J. Cranes or Crines. I'm not sure. But either way, this was another great story.
This was fantastic. I believe this is the first one in a while that there are multiple authors coming together from different perspectives. The author that's checking in on Dovin Bond and Tezzeret, getting Baral, actually seeing how he interacts nowadays. The interactions of Saram dealing with Campbell and dealing with the fact of the Renegades attacking the Aether Hub. Going back to Chandra and everyone to Gatewatch, and it's like going back and forth and everything else. It was really, I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I gotta say, the biggest thing that stands out in my memory from this story was the moment when they were trying to figure out, how someone could survive in one of the ether tubes, and I believe it was Strom that asked, what if they don't need to breathe? And it was at that moment that it was like, Etherborn, bitch.
You're like, oh yeah,
like, oh my god. But that moment really stood out for me because that was a really good
moment.
Yeah, description, just use of the Etherborn without outright saying the Etherborn.
It was creative. It made you envision the thought process. Like, you saw him connecting the dots. It's like, oh, Etherborn. Oh my god.
Yeah, really good.
I liked it, though. I'm pretty sure Saram's good now since they got the new consulate, but that's a little, again, spoiler, but we'll get to the end of that.
Yeah, Sram didn't really seem like he liked Kambal or anything that was going on. He was just kind of like, I gotta do my job. This is what I do.
It was really cool. Campbell's like, we have an executive order. He's like, had to be a mistake. I sent it back.
Yeah, just like, you're an idiot. Like, just, damn, Sram, just throw it in his face.
He's just like, look, that would take all the city, and you have proper authorization. Like, oh, shut up. Like, I'm not doing shit.
Man, get out of here. And then the Renegades attacked, and he was like, man, get out of here.
Yeah, get out. I'll deal with you later. But yeah, no, it was really good to see the different perspectives. Good to see Pia and Nalar acting like the vigilante that, they kind of made her out, the Renegade Prime. And, I liked it a lot. I want to say this again a lot. Like, there's a lot of things going on. I liked seeing how the Gatewatch operate and how they work together to deal with things and make plans. And obviously there's character growths, and the fact that Jace and Gideon are like seen, as Dovenbaum puts it, like they're the two people that share leadership. Gideon is more of the general, where Jace is more of the tactician in the background. They are growing to be a very good team, not just like a group of misfits, what they kind of felt like they were before.
I will say, though, that the two that still kind of feel without a place, one of them is purposely that way, and the other one I think is still just because she has to warm up to it, is in that descriptive order, Liliana, because she's not really too into the group and stuff, which makes sense, and Nissa, and that's, again, just because this is her first time being part of any kind of group, so it's going to take her a little bit longer to get her foothold.
Yep.
But definitely it seems like the other three members are finding their places. Gideon's the rally everyone, front lines person. Jace is the I'll figure out the best plan, to do this, blah blah blah. And Chandra's kind of the
I'll blow it up.
but also as we saw earlier in the earlier story, she's able to kind of do what Gideon does, but for a different demographic. Gideon's able to do it for the general person, the average person who just needs to be brought up to the next level. Whereas Chandra is able to do it for the downtrodden. She's able to rally the people who have had it hard and everything. And I think working in tandem, they would be very, very great at giving people heart.
At the same time, you can say that about Jace too. He has a way of inspiring because he represents the guild pact, so that's already a leadership position he has. Granted, it was full of bureaucracy, but like Zendikar really forced him into a position that you need to lead or people die.
I think they do have their own. They're able to lead their own individual type of stuff. Jace is more of a okay, let's get the intellectuals together and figure all this out. Let's think of the plans. Let's get all of the information we need. But Chandra, I guess the best way to put it is Chandra will get people there. Jace will figure out what people need to do, and Gideon will be able to get those people to do that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And to an extent, Chandra shares that ability, like you said, because just her doing it inspires the people. It's like, holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'll also note that Gideon and Chandra already have dealings with each other, so they're really connected. Chandra and Jace have connections, and they all know each other from the interactions in previous planes, so they kind of already know how people deal. Whereas Nissa is new generally to everybody. Liliana really has only messed around with Jace.
Yeah.
And like light touches with Gideon and Chandra, but more so, she's there for Jace.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
But now, I guess, the revolution began. Now let's watch it burn. Girapur has risen against Tezzeret's oppressive consulate. Renegades under Chandra and Pianalar seized the vital Aether Hub, but Dovanban knows the Gatewatch's weaknesses.
Yeah, this was written by Chris Latois. And he is he's very good at writing how Baral acts, because this was all him pretty much. And as Tezzeret told Dovanban in the previous chapter, he is like, Baral's the dog, you're the leash. Make sure he threatens. Make sure he bites, but don't chase. Mm-hmm. Now, I thought that was really good. And that's sort of what he was doing. He was making sure, like, look, you stay in line. This is the plan. You do it. You lure them out. Like, Chandra and Gideon were having a little moment on whatever.
Yeah.
And then Nissa came, and it was kind of awkward. And it's like, oh, geez, awkward moment. And then all of a sudden you hear, Chandra and Alar. And he's taunting her, and she's... a literal fireball is going after her with Nissa in tow, which I liked, by the way, because Baral's clearly like, all right, gotta go left and right, left and right. I'll get her to this place. He gets here and it's like a giant bush. And it's like, wait, that wasn't there. Son of a bitch.
Shit.
But he quickly turned that around, and once Chandra turned the corner, freaking kicked her in the gut. And I was like, God dang.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So Chandra's weaknesses, from the point is, she depends solely on her powers. She's not really a trained fighter. Not like Gideon or
even Nissa, really. She whips out that sword and it's like, oh shit, what?
That was funny too. It's like, wait, she has a sword? I was like, this sword of Animus.
This ain't just a staff, bitch.
So yeah, it was good. So it felt that, yeah, Chandra's powerful, but she's powerful in this one aspect. Just like how in Magic, when you play, there's control decks, aggro decks, mid-range decks. There are decks that are more geared to a certain style of play, but are weak to others. So you can see this. She is a burn strategy. She burns you. She attacks your face, but she's not very good at dealing with martial combat or tempo or anything like that. So this is the one thing I will say. The writers of these stories now are very good about putting the essence of the game into the stories. Like, I'm so interested as I read. It's like, okay, what spell did they use? Or like, oh, they used the land and everything else. This is the artifact. He equipped the Sword of Animus. Like, that's so cool to see that they're doing that. And that, so yeah, I really like this. This is a lot of character development for Chandra. Definite character development in Gideon and Nissa as well. And dealing with Baral and seeing how Dovin Bond works, because Baral got messed up again, even worse than he was before.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Burned even more. One thing before you go, the other thing too was when Baral's all taunting Chandra, who's hurt. All of a sudden, Nissa's like, stop. And then a giant tree just smacks. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I gotta say that was really funny. Just like, wait. Some of my favorite interactions, though, in this story were, and this will continue going forward, Gideon and Chandra.
Oh, yeah.
I am just loving that kind of like childish crush it seems Chandra has on him, and the in Gideon's from Gideon's point of view, kind of like okay, wait, how do I treat her? How do I treat this? I'm gonna be supportive of her. Yes, supportive. How supportive? This supportive? Okay, no, Nissa, you take care of her. I have to do this stuff. Damn it. Okay. And just bringing stuff back from his past, like Hixus, talking in his head, like, okay, yeah, okay, all right. But no, I'm really feeling that Chandra Gideon mix going on. And correct me if I'm wrong. This is also the story where they fought the Gear Hulks, correct?
Correct. At the same time.
Yes.
Because this is the choice. Gideon had to decide if he was going to go with Chandra and leave the people to deal with the Gear Hulk, or was he going to let Nissa help Chandra while he helped the people deal with the Gear Hulks?
Right.
So, yeah, he did that, and yeah, he took that head on with Saheeli and everyone else.
I really liked Gideon's whole, how do I take this thing down? I guess I'll go invulnerable and just go into it. Oh, shit. Just like the cog in the wheel, just like, fuck. Just waiting for it to just collapse, and then it does, and they're like, how many more times can you do that? And he's like, no. I was being crushed. But I'm really digging the whole, like, I'm unbreakable shit. Like, just, you're gonna step on me? Nah, dog.
It again goes into the flavor of the card, because this is the ability. He can't be damaged by spells, and it's so
invulnerable.
Great.
Just bam. Also, I was really digging how they specified each Gear Hulk.
Yes.
Like, we saw the Torrential, we saw the Cataclysmic, we saw, which other ones did we see?
I'm pretty sure you saw Noxious by the way they were describing.
Right, we saw the Noxious. The only ones we didn't see, I don't believe, were Combustible and Verdurous.
I don't remember reading descriptions on that, but I remember Tezzeret was all like, the Torrential can just wash them all away. And it's like, we need to calm down.
Yeah. Liliana took one down too, didn't she?
Yep, she sure did. I think it was the Noxious one, probably.
Shows just how powerful she is.
Yeah, she did that with ease. She was like, oh yeah, we're done?
Come on now, just brushing off her shoulder, like, what is this?
Oh,
Meanwhile, Gideon's just like, oh, fuck.
The return of Shadowblade with a Y, by the way. In all the nicknames.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The return of Shadowblade.
Shadowblade.
With a Y.
With a Y.
What were they calling Gids? Beefy?
Beef Slab.
Beef Slab.
Beef Slab, and then Night Dress, I think it was, for Liliana. Chandra or something else.
Candle or something?
No, that was a sentiment name that
Okay.
that they called that. Yeah, but no, I don't
Either
know.
way.
Regardless, it was hilarious. She's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it was Black Dress's idea. Well, Liana, it shows that she has a bit of levity in the situation, which is good. I like it.
Definitely. So after they were burning, or rather during the burning,
We go to the skies of Agirapur. Kari Zev, Sky Captain and notorious pirate, is sympathetic to the renegade cause for a price. While the renegades battle in the streets, Jace has accompanied the young captain who aims to put the Mind Mage's useful skills to work.
yeah, during that description, I completely forgot about Jace, and that's because he was here.
Yeah.
And the writer of this was Ari Levitch.
Again, another author we haven't seen much from, at least in the Kaladesh stories. But this one was really cool for the simple fact that this is a Jace solo story, and it seems like Jace gets a lot of these solo stories, like him on his own, quite a bit. If you remember back on Zendikar, he was by himself to go look for Ugin, and on Innistrad, he was investigating everything, and now, again, he's off doing his own thing. So he seems to be more of the loner type when possible.
Well, he is that high school emo. Yeah. That is not an insult at all. I was the high school emo.
I was the high school black guy.
You're still a black guy.
Oh, I'm still the black guy.
It's okay. Just keep that attitude. But no, I really liked seeing everything about Kari Zev, because I freaking love Kari Zev.
And her prince.
Yeah, the card, just everything about it was
Ragavan.
Everything about her is fantastic.
Right.
But the things I liked most about this story were really the descriptions.
Right.
The sky combat that happened, all of the planning, just everything. The
illusionist stratagem.
Again, we got a nice, like you said earlier, like seeing all of this like magic finally being enacted and stuff, and seeing how Baral was using so much counter magic compared to Jace, who isn't so much a counter magic user, but more of a illusory magic user. And,
so very tempo oriented.
And we definitely saw a level of his power that we hadn't seen before, creating an entire army of sky ships just from being told what they looked like.
Right.
Well, not so much being told. I should say he did delve into Kari Zev's mind and pull images and whatever. But either way, that was really good. But I especially loved how the description of how much focus he had to keep. Just like keeping still and everything. And when they were doing the nosedive, how he's just like sitting there like... And she's trying to figure out, is he concentrating or is he like trying not to puke?
Like that. Kari Zev's only 15 too. She's kicking butt in this whole story. Like she freaking jumped on a Spire patrolman after they caught her prince, the Ragavan legendary monkey. She's like, "What are you doing? We'll both die." It's like, "You have my monkey."
Give me my monkey.
Oh my god. Get that monkey off your back.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but we also got to see some giant whale action.
Yeah, because when that illusion went away...
They needed a plan, and just... What better way to take down the Sky Sovereign than with an Aethersworn whale? Maybe?
Yeah.
Just like...
Bounce it off.
Okay.
Like, well, alright, there goes the Sky Sovereign. I liked it. And I liked also how, like, you know, okay, this is Kari Zev's part in the plan. So from there, they just kind of switch gears. But there is inevitably
breaking points. The flagship Sky Sovereign has fallen, and the consulate's defenses are weakening. The Renegades and Gatewatch divide their efforts to attack Tezzeret's operation on multiple fronts.
The author for this is the lovable Doug Bear. He has a Tumblr. Please go check it out. The links will be in the doobly-doo, as they normally are.
Ah, yes, the doobly-doo. So in this one, we see the Gatewatch again split up. Obviously, Jace isn't with them because he's still on Karizev's skyship.
Correct.
But we see a Johnny.
Gideon.
Gideon went with.
We see a little bit of him.
We see him, but I'm just trying to remember. Gideon and Chandra went on to the Heart of Kirin.
Yes.
Ajani and Nissa
are down
on the ground attacking the ground forces.
Yes, with Ovia.
With Ovia, yep, with Ovia and Pia. Right?
They were all down there, yes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the Heart of Kirin, we had Gideon, Chandra, Rashmi, and Sahili.
And while Liliana went after Tezzeret.
Liliana decided, well, not decided, it was come to an agreement much at the
displeasure
of Gideon. Just like, okay, yes, fine, you can go attack Tezzeret, but try not to kill him. And Liliana's like, I'm gonna fucking kill that guy. I'm not making any promises to you, beef slab.
But yeah, no, this is also when Dovin Bond broke his way into the Heart of Kirin as well.
Yeah.
And then pretty much dismantled their hope.
The hope of Girapur just took the one pivotal piece, just took it out and crushed it. And Chandra was pretty pissed.
Oh yeah. As notably she would. He's like, oh, I can't fix this. I have fire.
And then Dovin Bond disappeared.
Which, okay, that's probably a negative there. If I had to pit down any, this is really nitpicky. He left. Where did he go? Did he legit abandon his plane? Because they don't mention him again.
That is a good question. While I do see that he recognized that there were some faults in the makeup of the consulate, specifically when he decided, you know what, Baral, there were some inconsistencies in your report and what has actually happened. Mm-hmm. You're fucked. While he did kind of start to make up for it, I think that I think Dovin Bond either just knew that they were going to lose and decided to leave Kaladesh, or perhaps he thought that he messed up too much. You know, there was no going back for him, so he might as well leave. Or maybe he's more interested in what Tezzeret's got going on. Hopefully not, but a blue-white evil planeswalker, that's interesting.
It is definitely interesting. I was just thinking that it's like, so they're looking at the more darker aspects of white, because just because the card is white doesn't necessarily mean it's pure injustice. There are other layers. There's a reason why Orzhov is pretty shady.
Yeah, white and black don't necessarily mean you're neutral. They don't cancel each other out. No, but either way, again, great descriptions of the battle going on down on the ground with Ajani, him saving Shadowblade with a Y, correct?
Yep. Oh yeah.
With his heroic intervention.
Yep.
Just like, oh, you got a tank? Fuck your tank. I'll destroy that shit.
And while Chandra decided that she's going to be a human bullet for the hope of Girapur, and Gideon's like, you're not going alone.
Again. Loving the interactions between Gideon and Chandra. Like, I'm not saying I ship them.
I ship.
But I ship them. So, I believe previously I was voting for Shasa.
We gotta get ourselves some Shardion.
Shardion?
Or
Gindra?
or Gidra.
Gidra?
Gidra.
We'll figure that out. But I gotta say, and this is not a criticism of the writing at all.
Yes.
This is quite in fact the opposite. Because of the depth at which they are describing these characters and giving them life and personalities and everything, as soon as Chandra was talking about using her white hot star power flame to destroy the thing, I knew right then, I was like, Gideon's going with her.
Yep.
Like, as soon as that happened, it's not in Gideon's personality to let her go alone. And he can use invulnerability. So, of course, he's going. And I think that's more to the credit of all of the authors being able to make the personalities consistent over the stories and really letting us connect with them and be able to kind of predict what the characters are going to do.
They've used what we originally thought to be cliches as a base to
Yeah.
grow off of, and like, well, this is the person that Gideon is. He doesn't want to kill unnecessarily. These aren't monsters. These are people. This is who Chandra is. She's impulsive by nature. But she cares deeply about the people that are close to her. So, yeah.
Yeah, really, really good. Really good. And I love the fact that Gideon and Chandra became the hope of Girapur. But knowing who Tezzeret was working for, Nicol Bolas, he loves his toys, or
his puppets. While her planeswalker allies are caught up in the Inventor's Revolt, Liliana Vess just one purpose in mind: to find her old enemy Tezzeret and kill him.
the author of this is James Wyatt.
Ha ha.
Because James, why not?
Because he wrote Liliana stories before. Oh,
yeah.
the joke.
Yeah, James. Because Liliana.
Good job, Roman.
I don't deserve to be here.
No.
So basically, this is showing us what was going on during the Ajani Nissa front and the Gideon Chandra bullet.
Yes. And this is what I was talking about before, how you feel like, again, the magic's coming through. This is duel between Liliana and Tezzeret. But before we get to that, the simple facts that there is no necromancy on Kaladesh.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment that she rose a zombie from the dead, the guards are like, what the fuck? What do we do? Oh, God!
Yeah, just kind of like, oh, shit.
We don't know how to deal with zombies.
And speaking of necromancy and Liliana, and character development, whether she wants to or not, these interactions with these other planeswalkers are rubbing off on her and changing her. One might say for the better.
Yeah.
While she knew that she could easily kill every single one of those guards that was standing in her way, raise them all from the dead, and go at Tezzeret with an army. It would have been as easy as, a smirk for her.
Yeah,
I guess.
Smirks a lot.
Or flipping her hair or whatever she do. But she knew in her own way that she didn't need to do that. Mm-hmm. And whether it was because of Gideon's constant, don't kill. Don't stop, please. You don't need to do that. Or her own conscience coming back to her or something. As soon as she saw all these guards being like pissing their pants over one zombie, she was like, this is all I need to get through.
I just need one. And man, that battle between Tezzeret, like, it was a lot of counter spells being thrown out. Mm-hmm. A lot of metallic rebukes.
Also, speaking of that one zombie, That was one hell of a powerful zombie.
Yeah, it took out all those guards, and it was battling a freaking
Construct. Just like,
yeah.
That was not any 2/2 zombie. That was a freaking 5/5 zombie giant.
That reminds me of the zombie. It's a card, Liliana's whatever. It came out in Core 2014. It was a super big zombie 4-drop. And I was like, hey, it's that card. But no, it's not, because it was just a renegade that died.
Just a random renegade, but he was powerful as fuck.
This renegade was like... But, dude, it was great also to see the interactions between them. And the important bit of all this is that Liliana got some bit of information from good old Tezzeret of their next destination.
Yep, which we've been talking about for a while.
Yep.
Well, the biggest information she got was that Nicol Bolas is controlling Tezzeret.
Yep.
Once again.
Yep.
And the second biggest bit of information is stuff that something we've known for a while, but Nicol Bolas is on Amonkhet.
Not only that, created Amonkhet.
Yeah, potentially created Amonkhet. But we all know, well, maybe not all. Some of us know a specific being on Amonkhet that is very important to Liliana.
And that is Razaketh. The one of the 4 demons, and actually one of the 2 surviving demons that Liliana made a pact with, and this is where his home is. And apparently, according to her, one of the most powerful of the 4.
Yeah, she does not think that she'll be able to take him down, at least not alone.
Well, that's why she has the Gatewatch, quote unquote, wrapped around her finger. Apparently, that's her plan.
Yeah,
but
I'm thinking that it's starting to turn the other way.
Yeah, she's trying to use them, but I don't think it's working. The power of friendship trumps all.
Yeah. You go, beef slab. And coming around to this, actually, because this, of course, ends with Gideon and Chandra making a grand entrance. Which really reminds me how much more they're using art during these stories, and
yes.
I love it. I absolutely love that image of Gideon
holding Chandra,
using his invulnerability, Chandra holding that it will be, but that tiny little explosive star next to her chest, and just like,
it's good. They're fine. They're doing it. It's taken them a while to get into the groove, I feel, but they finally got. Like, having a threat really brought the heroes together. Like, dealing with monsters, that there's only so much you can do because there's not personality in a monster. But this is someone that's a fellow planeswalker who manipulated these people and got into the political intrigue. And I think that's why I like it so much. There's so much political intrigue that's like interwoven. Like, there's a renegade. He needs a revolution. We need to get the people moving up and everything else. And by the end of it, Tezzeret disappeared.
Yeah. Liliana had him
under her heel, literally.
Literally under her foot, just like, I'll kill you. I will kill you. But she let up a little bit so he could talk. But yeah, after that explosion, he was gone. But luckily, so was the planar bridge.
Thankfully, the plan worked. And then there was
a renewal. The immediate threats to Girapur have been defeated. Now the Gatewatch and the people of Kaladesh must decide their paths into the future.
Yeah, and this is it. This actually released yesterday. And by far record-setting here. 5 authors working on this. Mel Ling, Kelly Diggs, Allison Lors, Doug Bayer, and Chris Latois. So many different perspectives, so many things they're wrapping up, but it all gets wrapped up in a nice, tight bow.
Yeah, this was a very, very good wrap-up kind of story. They really were able to touch on everything. Again, fun Chandra and Gideon stuff. Really liking that. We also do see more Chandra Nissa, which
It's adorable.
as I'm seeing it more, they definitely have more of a sisterly best friend thing going on that they're starting to work through, because they both have things that the other needs to learn. And,
Yeah. Nissa even saying that she doesn't talk. She has been alone for a long time. Like, this bond she had with Zendikar was beyond words, so she'll mess up. It's that she needs to work through them with Chandra, and they can help each other in that way.
And Chandra definitely needs that calming nature of Nissa.
Yeah. She knocked her out.
Yeah.
Well, not like knocked her out, but she led her on a guided meditation that led to her zonking out.
Kind of, because the way that she said it was like, yeah, I knew she was going to fall asleep. This wasn't the point of... This wasn't to reach meditation. This was to knock her out.
To relax her. I'm hushing now. The little things.
Yeah.
The little quirks I love.
But by far the saddest part of this story was saying goodbye to Yahenni.
And then hello.
And then possibly hello, yes. Yahenni had a great penultimate party. They were giving away their belongings to everyone. Just doing everything that they could. They lived a great full life, but they knew that they did not ever want to... They didn't want to continue stealing life to live. I loved the way that Chandra carried them around, and then Gideon carried them around like some luggage.
It was great. It was...
just really, really awesome.
And then Nissa.
And then Nissa gave Yahenni, as they put it, the best gift ever, which was the knowledge that not only are there multiple universes, but Yahenni is made of the exact substance that flows between each universe. And that, while making Yahenni feel small, also made Yahenni feel
huge.
Yeah, bigger than anything, because Yahenni was part of everything. Not just the ether of Kaladesh, as the Etherborn believed they were, but they're made from the energy that flows from plane to plane, connecting everything, that the planeswalkers themselves flow through. Just so much. It was again, as they put it, the best gift. And then we saw an Etherborn be born.
During that guided meditation, Nissa went into the realms here of the plane and found the Etherborn soul being there, and the way this particular Etherborn spoke was very unique and sounded just like Yahenni. They didn't say by their name.
No.
But
there was what was it? Yahenni felt something. It was the Neroli.
Yep, that was the line.
Yeah, well, the Aetherborn, rather. They said that she smelled like Neroli, and then they were like, what is Neroli? Because obviously they don't know what it is. They were just born. But then at the very end, while the Etherborn was being carried away by other Etherborn to celebrate their birth, they looked back and they said, you have beautiful eyes, sweetheart. And that was what shocked Nissa out of it. But as I was discussing with you earlier, off recording, that gives me kind of like a theory, I guess, in that Etherborn are not just random manifestations of the ether given physical form. Rather, there is something there, some kind of soul, something that makes each individual Etherborn living.
Yes.
And when a new Etherborn is born, they're not, like I said, just a random manifestation. They are, in fact, a reincarnation of an Etherborn, one that had existed before. So this was a reincarnation. And I think that probably the reason that they never found that out or discovered that or anything is, one, Aetherborn are very recent.
Yes.
But two, no Aetherborn had as large of had a large impression upon them as Yahenni did in their last moments. The gift that Nissa gave Yahenni stuck with their soul, stuck with their memories, what makes them a living thing. It was so impactful that it stuck with Yahenni through to their next life. Mm-hmm. And whether they're going to touch on that ever again or anything's going to come from that, I can't say. But it was just really, really beautiful that, and I think very impactful to Nissa as well, that the gift that she was able to give Yahenni was so powerful. That knowledge was so important that it crossed over to the next life.
Exactly. And that was a large part of the story here too. And that being the case, we've also had a new entry into the Gatewatch.
We have.
And Johnny, who's, funny enough, I love their interaction on like, oh yeah, how do you do that? And then Jason's like, I can show you.
It's pretty freeform, but I'll guide you a little bit.
And it was just cool to see how like him working through it and talking it. And you can tell, what I really liked is that the people who were kind of sensitive enough to notice saw that Ajani was still grieving for Elspeth, especially Gideon, who went to Bant for his first planeswalk. Yeah. Noticed that the cloak he wears isn't for a Leonin, and it says like his Bant stitching. It's like, what or who are you carrying?
Yeah, and again we see Hixus in Gideon's head talking about carrying the grief and how it gets pretty heavy after a while. But Gideon has done some growing as well. I think what normally he would have been very brazen about and trying to fix Ajani right then and there, he realized that it's his privacy. It's stuff that he'll come around to, that he will talk about, that in his own good time, and instead of blurting it out to Liliana like, hey, he's not just scared of facing Bolas again. He's carrying around a dead person. He was more like,
don't presume to know.
Don't presume to know everything about them. But they're at pretty big odds.
Yeah, they were just sitting here deciding what to do with Nico Bolas. They know where he is, and they know Tezzeret's probably going back to him. Whereas Ajani is thinking they need to hold back, gather their allies, and then go. The rest of the Gatewatch all unanimously agree, screw that, we're just going.
Yeah, and whether that's going to turn out to be a good idea or a bad idea, we'll see pretty soon.
Well, if there's any indication of the set names, once they get to Amonkhet, there will be an hour of devastation, and I don't know if the Gatewatch are going to be able to defeat this opponent. They've defeated Eldrazi on multiple planes. They've thwarted Tezzeret and caused a revolution for Kaladesh, but now you're literally going to the big baddie's main boss. We're pulling a Chrono Trigger here. You're going to the final boss right away, and I don't know if you're properly leveled for this.
No, probably not. You need to do a little bit more grinding. But we'll see. I did really like, though, the whole like you said to me before, the whole Gideon's the biggest one of the party. I am the buffest. I'm everything. Oh, Johnny, you're pretty tall. This is what it feels like to be Jace.
Yeah, this is like, oh yeah, I'm not the biggest anymore.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not the tallest. I'm not the largest. Oh, gee, I don't want to make this guy angry.
Poor Gids.
Oh,
you'll always have Chandra.
You will. And then Jace, and then Liliana, and then Nissa, and now Ajani. And
Oh, I meant in a loving sense.
Oh,
yeah,
I mean,
sure.
he can love
Sure,
all
whatever.
them.
Well, I mean, yeah, maybe he's pansexual. He doesn't seem like a pansexual.
No, he
type
doesn't.
Of guy.
But I will say this also marks what I called it before, but some of my friends did not believe that this would be the first multicolored oath. I mean, Ajani came here for a reason. I'm pretty sure he wasn't going to be like, yeah, screw the Gatewatch. It's Ajani. He's literally called the mentor of heroes. You really think he's not joining the Gatewatch?
Was I a non-believer?
No, it was another member of this podcast who was a non-believer.
You almost flubbed up a little bit there.
I wasn't going to say names.
No, it's good to know that I was not a non-believer.
Of course not. No, you're on my side all along.
Yeah, even if I didn't talk or anything. But either way.
I rewrote the memories again.
Either way. With that, we have played our 9th Planeswalker.
Yes, we did.
And we are going to make 9 emblems.
Final thoughts. I miss saying that.
Well, we'll be saying it a lot more. It's kind of sad now that now that Kaladesh story finished. We're back on track. Overall, I mean, step up from Kaladesh. Aether Revolt was the stories melded together. The character development was all on the same page. The personalities were all on the same page. Everything was flowed really well. I mean, I personally, I feel like you can just like read each single one and they flow together really well from one to the next. There's no real big disjointment between them. That's not a word, but who cares? Yours?
I loved it. This is I believe this followed a large part of the hero's journey, and mainly leaving Chandra in the protagonist spot. Because the first half, Kaladesh was a little slow, a little rocky. There were some good parts, some bad parts. But then Aether Revolt kicked in, and it was like, oh wow, now I feel it. Now everything makes sense. Now it feels like everything's clicking. Like, it was a new world. We didn't really know that much about the world. We're still learning about it. Now that we know about it, we're entrenched. We're, like, invested because of all the things we've learned about Chandra, about the people of Girapur, about Kaladesh as a plane in general, and the fact that there are bigger fish to fry. And Amonkhet, it left everything good. I felt satisfied by reading it, and I can't wait for more. I mean, now we know Amonkhet comes out in April. Like, we got about 2.5 months for it to drop. And then they'll be releasing stories around March.
So what are you looking forward to in the next set of stories?
Well, they already left off that Ajani has other plans to get allies. I'm really wondering who allies he's trying to get. And I'm guessing due to some art, there might be some places that he's going. But he's not going to be on Amonkhet facing Nicobolas. It's going to be our 5 Gatewatch members. So I'm not sure exactly who's going to be the focal point of that, since we've had Nissa pretty much for Zendikar, Jason Liliana for Innistrad. I guess you could say Gideon was on Zendikar too. And Chandra took up the bulk of this. So maybe there's not like a singular character focus, or maybe they're going to introduce a new Planeswalker like they did in Saheeli Rai, who, again, was asked to join the Gatewatch by Chandra, of all people. It was really funny. And she says, like, you know what? Maybe one day. But right now I need to make sure my plane is safe. So there's going to probably be an Oath of Saheeli down the line. And I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, that'll, I mean, if there's any indication from the last few sets, we're probably going to see a new Gatewatch member.
Yes.
At some point during the Amonkhet block. Whether it's an existing Planeswalker or a new Planeswalker, who knows? Because as for existing Planeswalkers, I can't really think of any that would be doing anything on Amonkhet.
What if Koth escaped New Phyrexia?
Koth? Huh?
What if he Planeswalked away?
I don't think he would. I think he's got too much invested there to planeswalk away to anywhere, especially not Amonkhet, where Nicol Bolas is.
Yeah, that's true.
Although hopeful thinking, or wishful thinking, hopeful wishing thinkful.
Hopeful wishful thinking.
There we go. Maybe we'll see our favorite greatest thief in the multiverse.
Oh yeah, Dak Faden.
I mean, because how could a thief pass up an Egyptian block that is literally the place to steal things? Pyramids, hidden treasures. You want to steal everything there. And who was he with last time? Well, not with
Ashiok.
Well,
it is rumored that Ashiok is from Amonkhet.
I mean, yes, but I mean, who was he potentially saving?
Elspeth.
And who has great ties to Elspeth? Johnny.
I mean, I know, but I don't think Johnny's gonna go there.
I mean, maybe not, but that would be pretty.
That would be
stuff going
fantastic, because I can see Johnny be like, "Oh, how'd you go off without me? Oh my God, it's Elspeth."
Yeah, you know. But either way, what I'm really looking forward to is the like you said, the upgrading of the enemies that they're facing. So the Gatewatch first tackled the Titans, the Eldrazi Titans, who were just mindless large things that they just needed to power through. Then they fought Emrakul, and they didn't really beat her. They just kind of, they didn't even seal her away. She kind of allowed it to be sealed away. So I think they're going to have to go back to her. I'm not really counting that just yet. Then they fought Tezzeret, who was kind of like a manipulative, intellectual kind of boss. And now they're going to fight Bolas, who is like the epitome of both and on his own world that he controls and is like, "Rrr." So I think rather than revolving around one individual planeswalker, it really is going to be, okay, so we've seen, Gideon and Nissa. We've seen Jason Liliana. We've seen Chandra. They've all been developing and growing and changing. Now it's time to see how they all work together on Amonkhet and really see the strength of this Gatewatch and how much they can endure.
I agree.
So with that, we will pass the turn.
And that's gonna do it for another episode of Loyalty Counters. You can follow us on Twitter at loyalty_counter.
You can find me on Twitter at ZestyGordita, though I do not post much.
And you can find me at Musamichi, that's MUSAMICHI.
For the inner Vorthos in all of us,
this has been Loresday. Catch you later.